This cutting-edge chart plotter costs $4,000, but the truth is, you do not own it. You lease your ability to navigate. In 2026, stop paying the subscription and your safest tool downgrades itself, layer by layer, until the screen taunts you in the fog. Garmin, Navionics, even CMAP. These companies want you one credit card mishap away from blackness at sea. Today, I will show you the industry's best-kept secret, how the subscription trap is quietly sinking your security, and why a $300 fix terrifies them. The real price of safety? You are about to find out. A decade ago, Chartplotters was simple. You bought an SD card loaded with charts, paid once, and those maps were yours. No logins, no cloud accounts, no ticking clock. If you wanted to sail from Maine to Martinique, you bought the region, slid the card into your plotter, and you were set forever. Even a decade later, that same chip could boot up in a different boat or hand off to a friend. The hardware did not care who you were or when you bought it. Ownership meant control. That era is over. Now, when you power on a 2026 chart plotter, the first thing it demands is not your root. It demands your handshake with the cloud. The device wants your Navionics or Garmin account. It wants your password. It wants to check if your subscription is active. This is not just for updates. The entire system is built around something called plotter sync. Here is how it works. Your plotter connects to a wireless connection, authenticates with the vendor server, and checks the status of your subscription. If the handshake fails, maybe your card expired, maybe the server is down, maybe your account got flagged, layers start disappearing. Bathymetry, satellite overlays, even basic hazard markers. Some units will not even let you import new routes without an active connection. Plotter sync. On paper, plotter sync is sold as convenience. Wireless updates, daily corrections, community edits. In reality, it is a lever. The vendor controls the lever, not you. Lose your connection, lose your layers. Miss a payment, lose your routing. Even if the physical SD card is in your hand, the chart data is chained to your account, not your hardware. The device nags you with pop-ups, renew now, reconnect now, or risk running blind. Lock in. This is not a technical requirement. NOAA electronic navigational charts are free to download, updated every week, and can be loaded onto open source apps without any account. The lock-in is engineered. The chart plotter industry has shifted from selling you a tool to selling you access. You do not own your navigation anymore. You own a box that asks permission to keep working every time you leave the dock. Access. July 1st, 2025. Garmin pulls Navionics plus chart coverage for the Indian Ocean, South China Sea, and half of Southeast Asia. No warning beyond a vendor notice buried on a support page. Anyone sailing Borneo, Java, or the Philippines wakes up to find their coverage gone. The device still boots, but the charts are missing. The only fix is buy a new chart package. The old subscription does not transfer. Forums fill with stories of cruisers stranded in Indonesian waters staring at blank screens. One delivery skipper posted a screenshot that said, "Chart not available for this region." No refund, no workaround. Just a link to a checkout page for the new product. This is not a rare event. In Canada, Navionics plus annual pricing jumps from $150 to $300 between 2022 and 2025. Europe sees the same story. The UK Solent region doubles in price. SailNet and Reddit light up with screenshots of invoices and angry petitions. The vendors call it expanded coverage. The reality is, you pay twice as much for the same waters you sailed last year. Miss a payment and your chart layers go dark. Hazard markers, satellite overlays, even basic tide information are locked behind a paywall. The chart plotter nags you with pop-ups that say, "Renew now to restore full functionality." The risk does not end with account status. In July 2020, Garmin servers went down for 18 hours. Plotter sync failed worldwide. No updates, no new routes, no community edits. Some units froze, waiting for a handshake that never came. Recreational boaters found themselves mid-passage with half their overlays missing. The forums called it navigation by braille. You are one credit card expiration, one server outage, or one vendor decision away from losing your eyes in the fog. It is not just an inconvenience, it is a safety hazard, engineered by design. The chart plotter on your helm is no longer a tool, it is a liability waiting to happen. And the companies responsible are betting you will just keep paying year after year because the alternative is running blind. Call the manufacturer. You will get a script. They will say, "We are sorry, but we no longer service units older than 3 years. We can offer a 10% discount on a new model." That is the official line. It does not matter if you just need a new button or a screen. It does not matter if the rest of the hardware is spotless. If you are out of warranty, your $4,000 chart plotter is dead weight. The repair department will not even open the case. They will check your serial number, find the purchase date, and close the ticket. The only help you will get is a coupon code for another expensive box that it will age out just as fast. Try asking for a schematic or a replacement part. You will get silence. The service policy is written in stone, no parts sold, no field repair, no exceptions. Everything runs through the RMA system, but the RMA system is a dead end for anything over 3 years old. Even authorized service centers are locked out, no access to firmware, no way to flash a replacement board, no source for a new screen. The official explanation is always the same: integrated design, water resistance, safety compliance. The real reason is economic. They want you to buy, not fix. Meanwhile, that old radar from the 90s is still going. If a capacitor blows, a technician can swap it. If a button sticks, you can solder in a new one. But with a modern plotter, you are not just locked out of software, you are locked out of your own hardware. The support ticket is not a lifeline, it is a sales funnel. Crack open a 2026 chart plotter and you will find the truth in the glue. The case isn't held together by screws, it is fused shut, seam to seam, with industrial adhesive. Try to pry it open and you will snap the plastic or tear a ribbon cable. Inside, the main board is potted in resin, a milky slab poured over every chip and connector. Good luck tracing a fault or swapping a button. Even the battery is welded to the board, no connector, no label. The repair score is 2 out of 10 if you are generous. That is not a guess. Marine techs have tried. The only way in is with a heat gun and a prayer, and even then you are left with shards and a voided warranty. Haul out an old Furuno radar from 1998. 4 screws, a metal backplate, and you are inside. Every board is labeled, every connector is socketed. If a capacitor blows, you can desolder it. If a button sticks, you can swap it with a part from DigiKey. The schematic is in the manual. These units are still running after 25 years, patched together by people who care more about seaworthiness than sales quotas. Modern plotters are engineered waste. The glue is not about water resistance. It is about locking you out. They are built to be thrown away, not fixed. When the screen cracks or the power button fails, the only tool that matters is your credit card. The hardware is just a subscription delivery system wrapped in plastic and planned obsolescence. A rugged tablet running Aquamap or OpenCPN does not care who made the chart or what logo is on the splash screen. It loads no-ear electronic navigational chart files, raster charts, and even old Navionics downloads if you have them. There is no lock-in, no cloud handshake, no account required. You want to run a Canadian electronic navigational chart next to a United States raster? Drag and drop. Need a backup of the entire Bahamas? Download the region, store it offline, and it is yours permanently. These apps let you switch between chart sources with 2 taps. If NOAA updates a buoy, you get the change on your next download. No subscription, no middleman. The data sits on your device, not on a server you cannot control. On a delivery job, you can load every United States and Caribbean chart onto a $600 tablet before you leave the dock. Cross the Atlantic? The same tablet takes United Kingdom hydrographic office charts, French CHOM charts, and even open-source maps from cruiser forums. If one format fails, another picks up the slack. Commercial fishermen run 3 tablets at once, one for navigation, one for weather, and one as a backup. Lose one, you swap in another. No single point of failure. No vendor can pull your coverage overnight. The chart plotter industry calls this fragmentation. I call it freedom. Tablets do not nag you for renewals. They do not brick themselves if you miss a payment. They run what you tell them to run as long as you have the file. That is what navigation should be: your data, your device, your decision. On the commercial side, the approach is simple: never trust a single screen. Delivery skippers and working fishermen do not gamble their safety on one device or one vendor. They carry 2, sometimes 3 tablets, each loaded with charts from different sources, each powered by its own battery, each able to run completely offline. If a tablet dies, gets soaked, or goes overboard, the backup is ready in seconds. That is not theory, it is the standard practice on boats that actually leave the harbor. The forums are full of photos of battered triple techs lashed to the dash, iPads in waterproof cases zip-tied to the helm, even a spare phone running OpenCPN tucked in a dry bag. One skipper describes his setup: primary for navigation, backup for weather, phone for emergency. All 3 have the same charts. All 3 work without a signal. Redundancy is not just a buzzword. It is insurance against every failure the plotter industry pretends does not happen. Dead batteries, cracked screens, power surges, even a lightning strike that wipes out your main panel. Each tablet is independent, drawing power from its own USB bank or internal battery. Lose the main inverter, you still have navigation. Drop one in the bilge, the next one boots up with the same charts, no login required. Commercial crews do not wait for a warranty claim or a replacement coupon. They swap in the backup and keep moving. Ask around at the fuel dock or the crew bar. The guys running deliveries across the Atlantic are not betting their lives on a $5,000 chart plotter with a single point of failure. They are running 3 screens, 3 power sources, and 3 sets of charts. That is not a hack. It is the industry standard for people whose paychecks depend on arriving in one piece. Picture this. You are running a narrow channel at dawn, fog so thick you can taste it. The plotter's screen glows, layers stacked, hazard shading, depth contours, tide arrows. Then, without warning, a pop-up appears that reads, "Subscription expired. Renew to restore chart layers." The hazard shading vanishes. Wrecks, rocks, and shoals fade from the display. All that is left is a blank outline and a blinking boat icon. You jab at the settings, but every menu leads to the same demand: update payment, reconnect to server. The credit card on file expired last week. The device does not care if you are in the middle of a passage or if visibility is 0. No warning, no grace period. One failed handshake and the overlays that keep you off the rocks are gone. Device logs tell the same story. Overlay loss is not gradual, it is triggered by a failed sync. Bathymetric layers, relief shading, even user-uploaded hazard markers disappear in a single reboot. Garmin's own support forums are full of panicked posts. Lost all overlays mid-transit. Chart not available, renew now. The system is designed to strip away safety features the moment your account lapses or the server cannot be reached. It does not matter if you paid $4,500 for the hardware. The moment the subscription lapses, the device becomes a liability. No sailor should ever have to wonder if their navigation will vanish in the fog because of a billing glitch. That is not a tool, it is a trap. Here is the bottom line. The numbers do not lie. A flagship 12-inch chart plotter in 2026 costs $4,500 upfront. Add 5 years of required subscriptions, $200 a year for global coverage, and you are at $5,500. That is for a single device with one screen, one power source, and one vendor holding the keys. If it fails, or if the account lapses, you are back to paper and guesswork. Now compare that to the dockside solution. 3 rugged tablets, sail-proof, triple tech, or even iPads in waterproof cases cost $600 each. That is $1,800 for 3 independent units. No subscriptions, no vendor lock-in, no cloud handshake. Each one holds every chart you need, from NOAA electronic navigational charts to raster scans and open source overlays. If one tablet dies, 2 backups remain. Lose a plotter and you are out $5,500. Lose a tablet and you swap in another for a few $100s. Let us spell it out. $5,500 gets you a single point of failure and a 5-year leash. $1,800 buys triple redundancy, offline charts, and the freedom to use any data source. Commercial skippers do not run the math for fun. They run it because their lives and cargo depend on it. The yacht club crowd pays for a nameplate and a glossy screen. The working boats pay for what works, what lasts, and what they can fix or replace in a pinch. That is the checklist: cost and independence. The chart plotter fails every category except profit for someone else. This isn't about convenience, it is about control. Every year, the subscription model strips away your autonomy and inflates your risk, turning navigation into a service you never truly own. As Chartplotter lock-in grows, your freedom shrinks. In 2026, safety is not a feature you rent. It is your responsibility to take it back. Drop your perspective below.